Just want to ask you about the announcement from Daniel Andrews yesterday. It must have been an awful day, not just for you, but for all of your members.
Oh, look, it's a really tough time for people in Victoria and particularly those in Melbourne in the Mitchell Shire. It's shocking, but people also, I think, understand that we've got to do everything we can together to try and stop the spread of the virus. That doesn't mean it's not going to be really tough. So a lot of workers are worried. They're worried about their future. They're worried about their jobs and their income. But also they understand that the sooner we act to stop the spread, the better it's going to be.
Who's going to feel this the most, Michelle? Is it going to be the construction workers?
No, look, I think it's workers across all types of industries and sectors. Take, for example, in fact, workers in early childhood education and care in our childcare centres. They've got an extra worry because you might remember the government took them off JobKeeper just a few weeks ago. So come Thursday, when the majority of those workers are going to be stood down, they don't even know whether they're going to get any pay. It's tough for construction workers, for factory workers in manufacturing, for workers in shops. Across the whole community, people are really worried.
So should the childcare benefits revert back to where they were?
Oh, Pete, absolutely. We think that one of the ways to help everybody through this, and particularly around Australia to help people recover, is to put back in place free childcare, but importantly, to make sure those workers, those really skilled workers that do an amazing job, early childhood educators, that they should be put back on JobKeeper urgently for those in Victoria who have lost really all of their work in the coming days. They shouldn't be left out. 97% of those workers are women. They need that money. So we want to see both of them reinstated to JobKeeper and childcare put back as a free entitlement.
Are you getting a sense that the government may be open to that? Eliza Edwards, our reporter, questioned the Prime Minister about this yesterday, and he didn't shut it down.
No, but I think those workers need surety, and we would love an answer to this today. Can you imagine what it's like knowing that basically those centres are going to be closed down? There maybe be 5 to 10% of the children able to keep coming. So that's the vast bulk of workers that won't have any work or any shifts, and not knowing if you're going to get any money. So they should never have been taken off JobKeeper. This can be fixed today by Josh Frydenberg or by Scott Morrison with a simple flick of the pen. So we're hoping that decision gets made today to give those workers the surety they need.
OK, well, the ACTU and the Business Council of Australia got together to pressure the Prime Minister into paid pandemic leave. Are you happy with the result?
Look, it's a start, but we are concerned that it still leaves some holes in our defence, Pete. What we're worried about is that it still requires people, rather than getting it through their normal payroll, which is the simplest and easiest way to do it, you would get it like sick leave. Instead of that, you've got to go through extra steps. You've got to ring a 1-800 number. You've got to apply for it. Then you've got to get the money. We think that adds complications that are going to make this not as effective as it can be. That's the first problem. Should be through payroll, and then the government reimburses the employers. The second problem with it is that it doesn't cover people's full wages. It's set pretty much at the rate of the minimum wage, and that's less than half the average wage. To have this work, workers have got to know that if they stop work to get tested because they've got symptoms or they've been exposed, and if they need to self-isolate or quarantine, that it won't have any impact on their pay. That's the way to make this as strong and no holes in it, this system for everybody. And this doesn't do that. So we really want to see this improved. It's a start, as I said, but we still think it's not going to quite do the job that's needed to be done.
What is the right amount?
Well, I think it should be people's ordinary wage. So think about sick leave. People who have sick leave know that if you're sick and you stop work, you get your ordinary pay. The problem in Australia is more than a third of workers have no access to paid sick leave, and then there's a lot more who've used up all their sick leave. So it should be the same system. Paid pandemic leave should operate that you get your ordinary pay so you can get tested. You don't have that worry. People who get tested and isolate are saving lives. They're doing the right thing. They're saving jobs. They're helping all of us by getting it done. We should help them.